Hello world and hello dear fans of Mate Debunked. My name is Susanna and I'm the creator of Mate Debunked. Okay, so this is part 2 in continuation from the previous video, and the topic is, why is it so easy for some people to find love or dates or romance or relationships for that matter? So part 1, I've talked about that it's purely a numbers game, and it's really about increasing your chances via your network of either friends, through hobbies and interests that you have, or through work, right? But at the end of the day, obviously, it's a numbers game, because the more people that you're in contact with, or that you know and they know of other people, then obviously that increases your chances of just networking and meeting people. So part 2 now is a different approach that I'm sure that many of you have heard about ad nauseum. It's one of the biggest industries for apps, and that's dating apps, right? So I think the whole dating app scene is really something that's proliferated society in the past, probably 5-6 years, right? Because in the past, we had to really do a lot more of the traditional approach. There was no dating apps. You know, even in the day of technology, you had to at least get the person's number and then initiate the text conversation. And then from the text conversation, you move on to telephone. And then from the telephone, you decide if you want to meet in person, right? But with dating apps, what that does is it really does a lot of the pre-screening or that filtering for you based on interest or just looks, and then you have the physical appearances, the outward appearances, or then you initiate from there and the text conversations. Right now, you'll have to pardon me because I am totally not into the dating apps. I don't know how to use them. And I think for me personally, it's because I've always viewed them as, especially the famous ones, the big ones, the Tinder, what else are there? Like Tinder, Bumble, something like that. So I don't even know all the top apps. But anyways, it seemed to be, it was definitely for younger people, right? And for me, I get the fun aspect of it, the swiping. Is it left or is it right? I don't know. But anyways, that whole swiping of it. But it's so superficial, because you base it on outward appearances. And I get that when you're initially dating someone, that it is about outward appearances. But I think for me, in terms of, now don't get me wrong, I've actually have a lot of people I know, a lot of friends, a lot of other people I know that have met through dating apps, have gone into successful relationships and even successful marriages. So by no means am I knocking them at all, and I do find that they've been extremely helpful for a lot of people. But for me, and I think now especially in relation to one of the previous video topics about AI, a lot of the dating apps, and again, because I'm in the tech industry and I do see where the whole privacy stuff is going, is that a lot of these dating apps, especially I guess the really good ones that ask you for a lot of your personal profile information in order to use the algorithm and AI to find you that perfect match. There's a lot of personal information and almost a whole application process that you need to go through and fill out before you're able to find a really good compatible match. And for me, I have an issue with that personally, because number one, I don't have time to fill out all that kind of stuff, but to provide so much personal information, I don't know, that's just for me something that I would rather find out in person, with someone that you initially think, okay, we might have a connection here, and then you find out in person. So, but this is part 2 of one of the other ways that people meet other people easily, or that they're able to move on and find dates or love or romance easily. So personally for me, I'm not a huge fan of them, but I've heard that it works for a lot of people. So that is another approach. Now, stay tuned for part 3 of this video series, and you'll hear my viewpoints on what the third part of it is. So thank you again for watching this one, and please subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't already, and tune in for part 3 coming up right after. Bye again. Bye for now. Thanks.